your spouse is always gonna be your first trustee. If you're not married, then it's someone you trust, could be a brother, could be a sister, could be a dad if you're young, and then, and you can put conditions, if my dad's still alive, it's this person, but if he can't or won't act, that's the language, then it goes to another, a successor trustee that you put, and it can keep going, and then the beneficiaries of your trust, if they're never trustees, like, I'm thinking about taking my children off as trustees, and it has to do with creditor issues more than anything else. Those laws are changing in Oklahoma that are allowing trust to be, if a child or if a beneficiary of a trust is the trustee of their own trust, some courts are saying that since they have access to it, they have to pay creditors out of it. Well, I don't want that. I want it to be 100% safe. So I may use a third-party trustee that is just given instructions by me on how to distribute correctly. Because I'm changing my trust to give my children more of an opportunity rather than just money. Okay, I'm really going to have to use a third party for that as well. And I'm working on that.
Would you have
we
to?
had a little discussion at the table last night about it.
If that in that situation, the trust would basically fold, right? It would be everything would be pulled out of it to be distributed, and then would it be a good idea to have like a plan in there for them to recreate their own trusts?
Well, that's why I do the lifetime asset protection trust. My kids, they're going to be given a trust. If they predecease me, and then the little trusts are made for their kids as well. And they're called dynasty trusts, where they'll always continue to do trust. But the way I'm rethinking this, and we're talking about it, in the entrusted method is we keep a trust in place, and the beneficiaries the trust stays alive and the beneficiaries grow out, but we don't give them their own individual trust anymore. And it's just because that way you centralize the wealth of your family, and then you have a council that serves as the trustee, and that over time new people get voted in as people age out. That's more of a dynasty trust. That's what I'm looking for, is like a Rockefeller type.
Yeah.
If you don't have a ton of wealth, that doesn't mean much, but you can create a lot of wealth through life insurance, and life insurance is one of the main funders for people that are in middle income, middle class. And so right now, I mean, we're looking at the life insurance from the point that it would help fund the buy-sell agreements. That's important. That way you don't drain the assets of the company paying family out. The life insurance will do that. And Chris will talk about this more, but whole life has cash value. So that can end up funding retirement accounts for you guys if nobody dies, right? If it doesn't pay out, you have cash value, and then you can borrow from it. So you can pull cash value out of your life insurance policies to pay a buy-sell agreement. So I'll let Chris go to that. He's the expert. He's amazing. We're going to do that too. But with businesses, you just have a little bit more to think about. We have a system called LIFT where a business should always have their legal stuff in order. They should have their insurance stuff in order. They need their financial stuff in order, and they need to make sure their tax issues are in order. Those are the 4 things of businesses. And there's attorneys like myself in this program. I don't do it. But there are some that do it that also do that LIFT approach, and they serve small businesses, and they become a really good resource where you basically become a member with them, pay a monthly fee, and you get access to them, which is pretty cool if you're a business owner, because it's worth it. It's just part of your system. IT, one of the most underfunded things in every business, hands down. Hands down. And it's one of the things that you should be spending a pretty good chunk, of your asset in your IT, because it's just the way it has to be, but most people don't. And I know that because my brother is in IT, and he's like, people don't want to spend the money on it, but it's like infrastructure. You got to do it. So anyway, that's part of it. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah. So universal life index policy, would that fold into this as well?
Yeah, well, that's what most of my trusts are funded by insurance, because most people don't have the wealth. So we have a lot more. If Darla and I pass, there's going to be probably cumulative about $3.5 million that'll go into the trust, and that's why I'm thinking about, even at stages. I don't know that I just want that going to my child for them to be trustee over. I think that if I want it to last and be there for their kids too, and pay for their kids' education and all that, there needs some reins on it, right? But that's how most normal people, they use funds. Now, it doesn't have to be. Indexed universal life is just an insurance product like any other product. But insurance is the reason why my wife got into insurance, because I kept getting tired of sending people to other insurance agencies to go fund their trusts. Like, why don't I send them to my wife? So my wife writes insurance policies for me, which is good. But that is definitely an asset. As your assets start to increase, you're going to be doing things with your assets. I'm assuming it's not just going to sit in a savings account with 1% interest. So you're going to have vehicles. You're going to have CDs. Right now, CDs are great. People hate them. But right now, they're freaking great.
5%, yeah.
which is nuts. It wasn't that way for a while. So, you know, you're gonna have those things, and it's gonna get more, you're gonna have it's gonna be a little intricate, right? So that kind of stuff, you gotta capture it into that trust. And that's just important. That way, none of it ever gets lost. It all goes into that trust, so the trustee can control it and maintain it and manage it. Some of them's gonna be income producing. You know, the trust will control how the income's distributed. It does all that stuff. So anyway, something to think about. And then I don't know what you wanna do until 2, but I'm gonna get them on the Zoom at 2.
We can take a break until
Okay.
Pay half hour.
Thanks.
We're all
Yeah, it was awesome.
fired
Yeah,
up
thanks,
and
Brett.
ready.
That was awesome.